Hello again, and welcome to Winning with the Wrangler at Dick Powell's Leadership Corner, brought to you by Earth, Wind, Fire, Water Training and Development, where our passion is building leaders of today and tomorrow. Leaders, I'm going to talk to you about a very important subject today. The subject is branding. And I want to take you back a little ways for those of you who might remember. The word branded came up in such a weird way that I think that we need to look at it. You see, it was a TV show when I was young, long time ago, I guess, for most of you, but it was about a U.S. Army cavalry captain who was drummed out of the service for cowardice. Now, it was a deed he did not commit, but he was still committed. And I still know the song where the line goes like this: what will you do when you're branded? Will you fight for your name? Now, I have to tell you, in our world today, our name is everywhere. It's on the internet. It's on, you name it, you can find it, your name somewhere. And someone's going to have something to say about you. So have you ever felt like you were branded as you walked around? Everyone knew something about you and it changed the way they treated you? Was it untrue, like this Army captain? You see, this show lasted several years, and with each episode, he had to negate the coward brand. He had to keep working to prove that it was not true. Well, when I think back to the word about branded, I go back to my cowboy days on the ranch. And I have to tell you, when branding day came, it was early in the morning. You had to get the fires started early. And after you get the fire started, it was placing the irons in the red hot coals until they too were red, glowing hot. The thing that came next, though, was a little bit disturbing to a young person until you got, I don't know if you ever got used to it, but the next thing that came was the roping of the calves away from the herd and pinning them down, hearing them bawling for their mothers who knew what was coming next. It still haunts me from time to time. The next sound was another sizzle and the smell of the iron as it hits the flesh and hair of the calf. Branding is something you never quite get out of your nostrils. No, not ever. You see, the other part is that brand will never change on that hide. You see, branding your business is just as memory making. When people hear your name, your company, your product, your service, what flashes into their minds? The branding of a company takes thought, research, and imagination. Once branded, changing the brand usually means starting all over with a new business and a new business model, which would bring you new clients. Something that you need to think about quite deeply. You see, we brand people too. And I bet that shocks you to some extent. I know your mom, like mine, said that these words don't judge the book by its cover. Or sticks and stones can break bones, but names will never hurt you. The opportunity is that names stick. And being classified sticks. And it's hard to overcome. You see, the branding of people is different. Once branded by others, we have a choice to stand and rebrand or accept what has been branded upon us. At this stage of life, I wear several brands. Some are hidden under old brands, some I am proud of, some I am not, and some I've earned. I was branded, of course, at an early age, and I did not realize it until later in my life. The fortunate part for me was that a good friend and mentor told me these things. He said, everyone has a brand of some sort that is on them. I myself was branded as at an early age of not being the sharpest knife in the drawer by a teacher, and my mother agreed. And so did I. You understand that mothers know best. My mentor went on to tell me that each time we are branded, we have a wonderful opportunity to move ahead on to the next great adventure. And he said this to me over and over. What great adventure, you know? And I kept asking, what great adventure would I have? And he continued on to tell me. He said, rebranding is a natural part of life. You get to answer some new questions that are only yours and yours alone. What do you really want to be? He said. What do you really want to do? He asked. Have you discovered your gifts and talents and how to use them? Where do you want to go? Who you become is up to you, he said. And he finished it off with a big piece. He said, only you have the choice to make. Be miserable and accept the hand you were dealt, or tell the dealer you would like a new fresh hand. He said that adventure is the new insights added to your past, insights to move you to the next level, but you get to make the choice. So as I pondered those questions, I have to tell you that by this time I was in my mid-20s, and I started to really think about it. What do I really want to be? Who do I really want to be? And what do I really want to do? What are my gifts and talents? And then when I discovered what my gifts and talents were, I have to tell you, it scared me to death. You know, this thing, I was told over and over that you weren't smart enough, quick enough, fast enough to be able to speak in front of a crowd, to bring knowledge to others. And I believed it for a long time. Until that time when I made the choice that this is what my gifts and talents were, and I had to actually put them to work. That movement, that choice was not easy. It meant leaving some people behind. It meant meeting new people. It meant starting a whole new adventure. It meant a whole new branding. And as I've gone through my many years, I have to tell you that I've had to rebrand more than once. More than once. But it kept me moving forward. So let's look at this another way. Okay? On the ranch, when a calf is branded, the cherry red iron is placed on the hide of the calf. The brand does not change. It will be that way as long as the cow lives. The calf will never have control of changing the brand. Now, people, on the other hand, can change their brand and do. I went from not the sharpest knife in the drawer to someone feared by the management at the company I worked at. I was the union steward, and I was good at it. I never lost a grievance. But one day I woke up and realized that instead of fighting against the management, I was protecting the people that should have been fired. I had the opportunity to really help my union brothers and sisters by weeding out the unwanted. I realized that the rest of the group was carrying the workload and having to work harder because I was protecting the useless. Most of them were not in the union, but had the same rights and access to the stewards as those who paid the dues. Pretty amazing piece, don't you think? Now, I have to tell you though, I woke up one night and I realized where I was, and I wasn't using my gifts and talents for the way I should be. and I handed in my union card. I rebranded myself once again, and I left where I had worked for 20 years and went to be an office manager. I had to rebrand and move on. The people who were my friends in the past now did not and would not talk to me. They called me things that, well, I won't repeat here. And there was no going away party or farewell. The realization was that people followed others who spoke well, treated others with respect, and sought to be a helping hand to all. This sent me on a new great adventure. Was rebranding easy? Absolutely not. Was it the most fun? Most days, no. Was it the most exciting thing that I continue to do? The answer is yes. And you see, that's the choice you get to make. That's the exciting part of being a leader. You see, today I look at the chance of rebranding daily. Some of my brands do not change, and the moral and the value code stays the same. I still remain trustworthy, loyal, and respectful. The learning and searching continues on daily, though. It's what you're going to do. If this is what you have chosen, you're going to put all your pieces and parts and effort into it. But if you need to rebrand, it's not a terrible thing. It won't be the end of the earth. The sun will come up, the sun will go down every day. You see, this next great adventure, this rebranding, was a whole new world of training others. This was the greatest responsibility so far I had ever been entrusted with. Setting the example each and every day of how to do their jobs as well as be a representative of the company on and off the clock. From there, it has been building new companies for others as well as my family. The only thing that has stayed constant is that as you change, improve, and rebrand, you will grow. And as you grow, you have an opportunity to help others, being that mentor, that friend, that coach. You see, this great adventure called life is exciting, it's fun, it's scary, it's messy, it's all those things. And I won't promise you that every single day is going to be just the best thing ever. What I will promise you is this. If you just sit back and you're waiting for something to happen, you're going to be sitting back for a long time waiting, because it takes action to move ahead. It takes the willing to take that risk to move ahead. It takes the willingness to take and discover your gifts and talents and then put them to work. And that is not always easy. So I ask you this big question. How were you branded? Okay. Are you still wearing that brand, or did you get a new one? Now, all of us have an audience that we want to be heard by, to share ourselves with. Mine is simple and hard to do. That's to teach personal accountability and personal leadership to everyone that I am blessed to come in contact with. You see, when I found out that that was my gifts and talents to do that, that was what I was called to do, I have to tell you, I kind of fought it for a while because it was scary. Who was I to tell others and show others and live in another way that people might change? They might look at the great new adventure of doing something different with themselves and their lives, and for those around them, that they might look at this whole thing as something that just was too hard to do. Now, I don't know about you, but leaders, we're branded all the time. When you're branded as a leader, you walk and talk and do differently than those around you. Your accountability is to yourself and then to all those around you. The trustworthy and loyal piece is a huge piece that you'll live by, walk by, and be consistent with. That, my friends, is what it's all about. I'm not going to tell you I'm not going to tell you it's easy. I'm not going to even tell you that it's going to be something you're going to want to do. But I'm going to encourage you to. I'm going to encourage you to really put time and effort into it. Now, because I've talked to you about branding today, I'm going to follow up with defining the milestones of life, because I believe these things go together. This great new adventure that is there waiting for you. So I ask you this question. If you were to fully live your life, what is the first change you would start to make? Now, fully live your life. I want you to really think about that. That means to really live your life fully, enjoying every moment, enjoying what you do, choosing the career, choosing the people you hang around, and choosing what you do for fun. You see, those choices will define who you are. But the first thing you would like to change, or you would like to start to make, the move, what first change would you like to start to make? I remember the first time that I thought about this, if I was going to live my life fully, what I was going to have to do. One, I knew that I was going to have to learn how to write better. I knew I was going to have to learn to speak and enunciate clearly. And I knew that I was going to have to change who I hung around and who I associated with. And those first three things in my world back a few years ago are still on top of my list, just so you know. I'm still learning how to write better. I'm still learning how to speak and enunciate better. Use words that are better and more understood. But living fully, I believe, because I'm using my gifts and talents to help others, my full life is much more fun. It's much more enjoyable. I believe the people around me see that I'm actually smiling more and enjoying more. Live your life fully. Only you can make those choices. Now, the second big question that you need to look at when you look at these milestones of life, what areas of your life could be upgraded or tweaked? Yeah, I know. I probably need to work out more, and that's something I don't like to do. But what part of your lives need to be upgradable? Could it be that you need to upgrade your relationship building? I don't know. Could it be that you need to look at your career and say, where do I need to learn new things, stay up on top of what's happening in the world? What things do I need to bring to the top? Are there some things I need to tweak? Those words I use, the writing I use, all those different, maybe I need to learn how to use a computer better. All those things are tweaking, right? So what areas of your life could be upgraded or tweaked? You see, that's another choice. As leaders, I'm trying to encourage you that life is about choices, and choices define who you are. Sounds pretty easy. Why is it so tough? Well, I think it's tough because we make it tough. I think it's tough because we don't put enough into it to make it fun. Let's look at the question number 3. I think you'll have an easier time with this one. What could we work on right now, that would make the biggest difference to your life? And I say we because I'm going to encourage you to look for a coach. Bring someone into your life who can help you go through this. Someone you can ask questions to, someone you can bounce things off of. You see, once you learn that in life you don't do anything by yourself, there's always someone there that you're standing on their shoulders. And there's always someone who knows something that you don't. And there's always someone who can share that information with you near. That's when you start to have personal growth and accountability. And as a leader, that says more about you than anything else. So what is that one thing you could do right now? Right now to make the biggest difference in your life? Is this giving up something? Is it adding something? What is it? Okay, let's look at the next one. How would you feel about doubling that goal? Instead of a goal of making 25,000, you want to make 50. Or instead of 50, you'd want to make 100. Instead of 100, you want to make 200. Or you'd want to take and sell 20 widgets or 40 widgets. What is the goal that you would feel good about doubling? Or giving it a shot. By golly, I mean, you know what? People rise or fall to expectations given to them. And people rise or fall to expectations given to themselves. So where do you want to be? How would you feel about doubling that goal that you just put down? You see how this all starts to come together, don't you? Now, this next question is a little bit different because it's going to ask you a personal question. And the personal question goes like this: what are you tolerating? What are you tolerating right now or putting up with? Now, only you can answer that, but for a while I have to tell you I tolerated the people that I worked with. I did. I tolerated people I worked with until I could move on to the next piece, that next great adventure, and move out of there. That was what I was tolerating. What are you tolerating that you're putting up with? Is it someplace you're living? Is it something you're doing? Is it an action that you can change? Oh man. You see, now you started to really think about my gifts and talents and what am I doing and how am I doing it and what can I do? You see, I believe that as leaders, we sometimes don't take enough time to put some deep thought into these things. Ah, man. I'm going to encourage you to get out a piece of paper and a pen and write down this thing is, what do you want more of in your life? What do you want more of? And funny thing is when I ask that question to a large group, most people just say, I want more money. Well, I don't think that that's it. The next one is, I want more time. Well, we all have the same amount of time. We all have the same opportunity to make more money. What is it that you want more of in life? You want more time with your family? You want more opportunities to do things? You want more travel? You want, what is it that you want more of? Make a list. I carry around my journal. Where is it? Here it is. And I take and put it in there. I write down in my journal more things I want in my life. Right now, it's things like spend more time with granddaughter. Probably sounds silly to you, some of you young folks, but it's as you make the list of what you want more of in your life, money's way down the bottom of it. For me, only you can make that choice. Now, I want you to also make a list of what do you want less of in your life. For me, the big one on there is drama. I want less drama. And what's funny about it is it's usually not Robin or myself's drama. It's something that somebody's drug into our lives. But what do you want less of in your life? Less worry? Could be. Less job, less worry, less spouse, less something. I mean, what do you want less in your life? Mine's a pretty short list, but Maybe yours is longer. I don't know. Now, I have to get down to this next piece here because I think you're going to want to spend time here. All right, let's get back to it. All right, so what do you want more of in your life? What do you want less in your life? What are the 3 things you are doing regularly that don't serve to support you? Okay, what things are you doing that are not pushing you ahead, that you need to stop right now? Okay. I want you to look at your goals, and I want you to look at them and say, how could you make the goal more specific and measurable? You see, if you can't measure it, how are you going to know if you made it or not? Mm-hmm. What would be the biggest impact of achieving your goal or goals? What would it mean to reach them? Okay. How can we make this something you're aiming towards rather than something you're trying to move away from? You see, that's a big one, isn't it? I have found that over the years, people have tried to run away, move away, do away with their situations or a problem that they're dealing with. You can't move away from it. You can't run away from it. You have to face it and make it happen. Stick down on a piece of paper or notes, what do you love to do? What do you love to do? What's the thing that really makes you happy? Really flips your switch. Write down some things that you just really do not like to do, don't want to ever do again. Okay. What's the one thing you want to do before you pass away? What's the one thing? What is now the right time to make a commitment to achieving these goals? Say yes. What could we work on right now that would really put a smile on your face? Well, for me, it'd be go over there and tie some flies, but I'll do that later. For your life to be perfect, what would you have to change? Now, there's something to consider. Now, this one I want you to write down and really spend time with. What do you really, really want? What do you really, really want? And what's one change you could make to your lifestyle that would give you more peace right now, today? You see, these are questions that help you define where you're at, where you're going, how you're going to get there. And as leaders, it's not only our duty to take and do this for ourselves, but we need to help those around us do the same thing. This whole thing of finding out your gifts and talents and putting them to work is an amazing part of self-discovery. And leaders, this is a big part of building new leaders, of bringing people on and letting them see how and what they can do. This is a big piece. And we're all called as leaders to do that. So helping others and helping yourself define this piece, these milestones, these mile markers, these things that are big chunks of your life, make a big, big difference in what you are doing and how you are doing it. Now, I see our time is running short, and so I'm going to wrap up this way. On behalf of myself, Dick Powell, and the whole Leadership Corner team, we want to say thank you for being a part of today's program. Our hope is that you've received a nugget of wisdom and guidance that will help you build your leadership ability. If you have any questions or comments on today's program, don't hesitate. Send me an email, dick@leadershipwrangler.com, dick@leadershipwrangler.com, or go and set an appointment with me at the website, www.leadershipwrangler.com, www.leadershipwrangler.com, or if it's burning desires, call me. 727-422-1833, 727-422-1833. And when you're thinking about bringing that person on to be with you and your group, to work with them on personal accountability and personal leadership, remember the Leadership Wrangler is available for keynotes, talks, instructions, facilitations, in business and presentation coaching. And until next time, this is D.W. the Wrangler saying, ride hard, ride fast.
phone right, but they don't have touch screen.
Oh, yeah.
Like this JP.
So I'm just gonna do it now.
Oh, okay, good.
Keep
I'm gonna
moving.
come through wet clothes on crack in here. And don't get rusty.
Have fun.
I'm probably with that first.
Okay. I'll be done with it before you leave.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Go to the bathroom first. Huh?